Welcome back to Unirunner Video Drum Lessons. This week we're going to talk about shifting the pocket. When we talk about the term pocket in music, it usually refers to the feel of the backbeat on the 2 and 4 when the band hits the backbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And many times it's played on the snare on the kit. Here we have a screenshot from Cakewalk Pro Audio 9 on my computer that shows the backbeat of a rock beat, and the beat sounds like this. So you've got the backbeat on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And so if you look at the screenshot, you can see that the snare lines up on the 2 and 4, and I've got vertical rulers to show you where the beat lines up on the beat 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, the backbeat or the pocket is matched up exactly on the beat, because each ruler guide that you see there going up and down is precisely connected with the metronome that I placed these beats within Cakewalk. Now this is a very analytical way to show and describe this concept of shifting the beat. It's a concept that's better explained using terms like laid back or pushing, playing ahead of the beat. But this will be a good way to show you and illustrate both visually and audibly the concept. So with this illustration, this screenshot that you see, you've got the snare, as I said, on exactly lining up with the beat. Now, along with things that we talked about in the past, like dynamics and other techniques that allow you to express emotion in music, this shifting of the pocket is also a very useful technique. Because as you can see in this next example, I've shifted the snare slightly back to the right on each 2 and 4, and also the hi-hat on 2 and 4. I've shifted them to the right, so they're slightly behind the 2 and 4. And if you're familiar with the concept of ticks in software like this, there's 480 ticks per beat, so I shifted each backbeat to the right 7 ticks, so very slightly. So if you listen to the example here, what you hear is the beat being laid back. That's the term I would use most often, or playing behind the beat. Now this technique is very useful for blues, ballads, anything that's slower, that has a heavier groove. You want to create more of a anticipation of that pocket. It almost gives it more weight to slightly shift it off the beat. There are plenty of examples of this. I think one example, at least when I became aware of it, was Sad But True, this Metallica song back in the 90s, and just the backbeat has this tremendous weight to it because it's slightly playing behind the beat. Another example I can think of shifting the beat, where it wasn't on the backbeat but the first note of every measure. It's the chorus of Nirvana's classic Smells Like Teen Spirit. I remember trying to play along with that one time and noticing how Dave Grohl, the drummer, would just hold back before hitting the downbeat of every measure. I mean, there's a real anticipation which created a tremendous sense of weight and emphasis at the beginning of each measure. Now in this next example, I've done the opposite. Shifted the backbeat to the left or ahead of the beat. And you'll see this or hear this often in jazz music, where you want to kind of have this tight feel or on top of the beat, kind of urgency almost you feel and hear in the beat. So those are some of the things you can do with within a simple beat to adjust the feel other than dynamics, but always keeping in mind the underlying groove to keep a consistent beat, although you might be shifting certain elements like the backbeat off within the measure. So if you'd like to experiment like I've done here within Cakewalk, there's a free audio editor tool out there. It's called Audacity. It's open source software. They don't sell this Cakewalk Pro Audio 9 now. It's now Sonar. It's similar to some of the other tools out there like Pro Tools and whatnot. A lot of them have the same kind of wave editing capability where you can clip up your beats or chop them up and move them around, experiment with how it sounds, and then try and replicate that on the kit. That's going to do it for another episode of Unirunner Video Drum Lessons. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And thanks to Rory for his song Peace, War, and Happiness, which comes from the PodSafe Music Network. You can check it out at music.podshow.com. If you have any questions or comments related to this podcast, you can either contact me by going to unirunner.com, clicking on the contact link, or if you have specific comments about this podcast, you can click on the comment link below the podcast at unirunner.com. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can click on the link to subscribe through iTunes on the left side of the page at unirunner.com, or visit unirunner.com/donations. Thanks again, and until next time, keep practicing, and God bless.